Hi, church. The Lord be with you. It's Saturday morning before Sunday, January 20th. Getting ready for church tomorrow, and I'm going to share a video about the hymn of the day. Trying to explain a little bit what our main hymn will be each Sunday to just kind of educate, maybe help us see why we're doing it. Because sometimes the hymns are not that well known. It's the hymn of the day. Sometimes you might call it the sermon hymn because it's the hymn immediately before the sermon. But the most appropriate title is the hymn of the day. Each Sunday is a day. Easter, Christmas, tomorrow, the third Sunday after the Epiphany, that is the day. And so the hymn is specifically chosen for that day. Each commemoration has its own hymn of the day. We had after Christmas those 3 days, St. Stephen, the Holy Innocents, St. John. There's a hymn of the day for the day of St. Stephen. So the hymn of the day comes out of our hymnal. And we know that the hymns are categorized, some by season of the church year, some by topic, hymns for baptism, hymns for communion, hymns for trust, hope, morning hymns, evening hymns, beginning of service hymns, close of service hymns. The hymn that we have for tomorrow, O Christ, our true and only light, number 839, comes out of the praise the mission and witness section of our hymnal that follows the section of praise hymns. Mission and witness. Before I read the text, let's spend a moment talking about Johann Heermann. He's the one who wrote it. I'm going to put this book down and pick up my other book. Johann Heermann was a fairly prolific hymn writer. A number of his hymns are in Lutheran Service Book. He wrote this hymn during the 30 Years' War, which was in the 1620s and 30s, a devastating war on the population of Germany. This is what a scholar wrote. His name was Gustav Pollock. He wrote this about Johann Heermann's hymns. When we consider the many kinds of trials, sufferings of body and soul, under which many would have lost courage and given up in despair, then Heermann's hymns will loom up before us as among the most exalted of spiritual poems. That's pretty high praise. Writing during, again, the 30 Years' War. Trials of body and soul. We could include trials of mind, crises of faith, and how many have given up hope. So what is the text of this hymn? Well, here it is. O Christ, our true and only light, enlighten those who sit in night. Let those afar now hear your voice, and in your fold with us rejoice. Fill with the radiance of your grace the souls now lost in error's maze. Enlighten those whose inmost minds some dark delusion haunts and blinds. O gently call those gone astray, that they may find the saving way. Let every conscience sore oppressed in you find peace and heavenly rest. Shine on the darkened and the cold. Recall the wanderers to your fold. Unite all those who walk apart. Confirm the weak and doubting heart. That they with us may evermore such grace with wondering thanks adore, and endless praise to you be given by all your church in earth and heaven. Lovely hymn. Wonderful words. Enlighten those who sit in night. It's in the Epiphany season. The star that led the wise men to Jesus. We pray for that light to shine upon us, that we come and worship the Lord. Are there those who are afar from the Lord who need to hear his voice? Of course there are. Oh, gently call those gone astray. Oh, gently call those that we know and love. Oh, gently call me. Lord, call me back to you. Shine on the darkened and the cold. Recall the wanderers to your fold. In John chapter 10, I have other sheep that I must go and call. And all of this is done by God's direction, God's leading, and it's a hymn that begins and ends with him. O Christ, our true and only light. And any work that is done, any benefits that come, a praise is given to you, to God, by all your church in earth and heaven. So why for tomorrow, the third Sunday in Epiphany, third Sunday after the Epiphany? Well, last Sunday was the calling of Nathanael, and I'd include Philip in that as well. Philip found Jesus, or Jesus found Philip. Then Philip went and found Nathanael and said, hey, Messiah is here, Jesus of Nazareth. Our gospel reading tomorrow, Jesus is in Galilee, and he finds Simon and Andrew, brothers, fishermen, and then he finds James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John. Follow me, and I will make you to become fishers of men. To call those who have gone astray. To let people know that the doors to the sheepfold are open. That they with us may hear your voice. That together we hear the voice of the Lord. So I think maybe that's why the hymn was picked for the third Sunday after the Epiphany. And I want to share one thing. I don't want to drag this video out too long, but I find this kind of interesting. Heerman developed the text of this hymn on a prayer. And the prayer was written by a Jesuit priest. And this is the Society of Jesus. It's a Roman Catholic order. And the prayer was written to encourage those in the Catholic Counter-Reformation, right? So there was the Protestant Reformation, and many Catholics left for the Reforming churches. There was a Catholic Counter-Reformation, and this is why the Society of Jesus came into being. They wanted to bring the Protestants, the protesting ones, back to Rome. So the Catholic Counter-Reformation was a big thing. All those lost in error's maze, those haunted by dark delusions, all those who have wandered, let them come back. Hermann took that prayer, expanded it, and maybe broadened its scope, if you will. It's not just to draw people back to Rome. It's to draw people to the Lord, to draw people to Jesus. We recognize that when Jesus called his disciples, they were to always be pointing to Christ. That's what the church does. Sometimes we succeed, sometimes we don't. But we always point ourselves to the Lord. So that's our hymn of the day explanation. I don't know if the next videos will always be quite this long. We had a little bit about the hymn of the day and why it's called that, but stay tuned. There'll be more of these. I'll see you. Bye-bye.